Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. It was 7:38 in the evening when I heard it, that slow, uncertain knock on the front door. The kind of knock that tries not to exist but still hopes to be answered. I didn't need to check the peephole. I already knew. Cindy. She'd left 3 months ago, asking for a break. Her words, not mine. A break from what? She never explained. From me? From the house? From her vows? Maybe from herself. When I opened the door, she was standing there with a suitcase, rain still dripping from her hair, trying to pull together the softest smile she could manage. "Hi, Owen," she said. "Can we talk?" I stepped aside. I didn't say yes, but I didn't have to. Silence was enough of an answer. She walked in slowly, like she was entering someone else's home. Her eyes moved across the living room, landing on the framed picture over the fireplace. "I thought you'd take that down," she said quietly. "Didn't see the point," I replied. Her lips pressed together, and she nodded like she understood. "I made mistakes," she whispered. "But I've had time to think. I know now. You're my soulmate." That word used to mean something. Tonight, it sounded like a line from a play we'd already closed. Before I could respond, her phone buzzed on the coffee table. She looked at it, then froze. The name on the screen said it all: Sawyer, the co-worker she once called harmless. "You might want to listen," I said. Her confusion lasted 2 seconds. Then the sound played. Sawyer's voice filled the room, careless and tired. "Tell your husband I'm done. You're too much work." The message ended with a short laugh. Cindy's face went white. "You heard that?" I looked at her, calm as a clock. "He said it better than I ever could." She tried to speak, but nothing came. Cindy sat on the edge of the couch, hands clasped so tightly. "Owen, please," she started. "It wasn't what you think. I was confused. And Sawyer—" I raised a hand. "Stop." She froze. I stood up, walked to the kitchen counter, and came back with a plain envelope. Her name was written across it. I placed it on the table between us. "What's this?" she asked, her voice trembling. "Closure," I said. She hesitated before opening it. The moment her eyes landed on the first page, her breath caught. "Divorce papers." She looked up, eyes glassy. "You actually filed?" "I told you before," I said evenly. "I don't do maybes. You asked for space, I gave it. You just didn't expect it to end with him first." Her jaw quivered. "You're wrong, Owen. It wasn't like that." I didn't answer. Instead, I slid another set of papers across the table: hotel receipts, toll charges, and a joint account statement. "You forgot to log out of our bank app," I said quietly. "You paid for the trip with him." She covered her mouth. "You were tracking me?" I shook my head. "Didn't have to. You left your location on." Her eyes filled. "I just needed time to think." "You found plenty of that," I said. "You just happened to find Sawyer too." Tears slid down her face as she whispered, "I didn't mean to hurt you." I leaned back, arms folded. "You didn't hurt me. You just confirmed what I already knew." Her gaze dropped to the table, where the envelope lay open beside her trembling hand. That's when she noticed the small flash drive resting next to it. "What's that?" she asked. "Proof," I said. "Messages, receipts, a little bit of everything. Don't worry, I haven't shared it. Yet." She stared at it as if it were a loaded weapon. "You wouldn't do that." I met her eyes. "You sure you want to test that theory?" For a long moment, neither of us moved. A week passed before I saw her again. It was a Tuesday morning. My assistant, Nadia Patel, stepped into my office and said softly, "Owen, someone's here to see you. Says it's personal." Cindy closed the door behind her, holding 2 cups of coffee like peace offerings. "I brought your favorite," she said, trying for a smile. I didn't touch it. "You signed the papers?" She nodded, setting 1 cup down on the desk. "I did, but I need to talk to you before you file them." I leaned back in my chair. "Talk about what?" Her face tightened. "About the flash drive." I looked at her for a moment, then said, "What about it?" "I know you, Owen. You don't keep evidence unless you plan to use it." I didn't reply. Silence was more effective. She took a shaky breath. "I made a mistake, all right? I went to Sawyer once. Just once. It didn't mean anything." I turned my chair slightly, watching the rain slide down the window. "Funny," I said, Because I don't remember you calling that a mistake when you packed your suitcase. Her voice cracked. You're being cruel. No, I said calmly. Cruelty is doing something you know will destroy someone, then calling it confusion. Cindy turned to me. Are you going to show it to anyone? No, I said. I'm not interested in revenge. I just like the truth where I can see it. She lowered her eyes, voice soft. You used to fight for me. I nodded. I did. Until you made it a competition I couldn't win. She swallowed hard, then stood up. If you ever remember loving me, call me, she whispered. I remember, I said quietly. That's why we're here. 2 days later, my phone buzzed while I was driving to work. Unknown number. I hesitated, then picked up. The voice on the other end made me go still. Owen, this is Peter Lang, the man said. I manage Cindy's department. I just wanted to confirm, were you aware she listed you as an approving partner for some business expenses? My hand tightened on the wheel. No, I said. I didn't approve anything. Check the signature. We did, Peter replied. It doesn't match yours. Thanks for confirming. Then he hung up. By the time I parked, I already knew what that meant. Cindy's life was beginning to fold in on itself. That night, I found an envelope in my mailbox. Her handwriting was still careful, like she was trying to control something. Inside was her wedding ring and a note. I'm sorry for everything. Please talk to me before you file. I still love you. I read it once, then placed it back inside the envelope and left it on the counter. There wasn't anything else to say. Over the next week, the messages started. Calls, voicemails, long texts that read like confessions. I didn't respond to any of them. Then Nadia came into my office one morning, holding a small package. This came for you, she said. It was from Cindy. Inside was a photograph of us from years ago, her in a white dress, me laughing at something she'd said. On the back, she'd written, I wish we could start over. I put it in the drawer with the other things I wasn't ready to burn yet. By the end of the week, her social media disappeared, and mutual friends stopped mentioning her name. She'd wanted silence once. Now, she finally had it. I went home that night, poured a drink, and sat by the window. For the first time, I realized I wasn't angry anymore. Just finished. A week later, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. Mr. Evans? A calm female voice said. Yes. This is Detective Alvarez from the Metro Police Department. We'd like to ask a few questions regarding your wife. Ex-wife, I corrected. A pause. Right. She's filed a report claiming you distributed private material without her consent. I closed my eyes for a second, exhaling slowly. She's talking about the footage, isn't she? That's correct. I didn't send anything, I said. Her company's IT department already had it. She used her work laptop for personal backups. Another pause. We're aware, the detective said. Her employer confirmed that. We just needed your statement on record. Then we're done here, I replied, and hung up. It was almost impressive, the way Cindy could dig a deeper hole and still think she could climb out. That evening, I got a message from a mutual friend, Claire Bennett, a quiet woman I'd known for years. You might want to know, she wrote, Cindy called me yesterday. She asked me to tell anyone who asked that you were controlling. Said she was scared of you. I stared at the text for a long time, then replied, Thanks, Claire. Don't get involved. She's unraveling. Cindy's calls came again that night, 7 missed ones by midnight. I didn't answer. The next morning, Peter Lang called a second time. His tone was polite but uneasy. Mr. Evans, just for your awareness, we've closed our internal review. Cindy's contract is being terminated. There's also evidence she altered financial records. I said nothing. Later that night, I walked through the house. The quiet felt different now. Not heavy, not sad, just empty in the right way. The kind of quiet that doesn't ask for company. Cindy texted me 3 days later. Just one conversation, please. I ignored the first message, then the second. By the third, I agreed. Not because I wanted to see her, but because I needed it to end properly. We met at a cafe near the harbor, a neutral place. She was already there when I arrived, sitting by the window, stirring a cup she hadn't touched. She looked different, thinner, paler, her confidence stripped away. When she saw me, she gave a faint smile. You came. I said I would. I sat across from her. She looked down at her hands. I know you don't believe me, but I didn't plan any of it. Sawyer and I, it started when I felt lost. He made it easy to forget how bad things had gotten between us. You didn't look lost in those photos, I said quietly. She winced. He told me I was special. But when things went bad, he sent those videos to people I work with. He humiliated me. I nodded. So now you know how it feels. Tears welled in her eyes. He used me, Owen. No, I said, voice steady. He used the person you decided to become. She looked at me, trembling. Can't you forgive me? Just once? Forgiveness is for accidents, I said. You knew exactly what you were doing. She covered her face. I can't sleep. I keep seeing it all replay. If I could go back— You can't, I interrupted. You wanted space, and you found it. Just not the kind you expected. She stared at me for a long moment, searching for a break in my calm. There wasn't one. Finally, she asked, What will you do with the flash drive? Nothing, I said. I don't need revenge. Silence already finished the job. She nodded slowly, defeated. Then this really is the end. It was, I said, standing up. The moment you walked out. I left her there. A week after that meeting, I was shutting down my computer. Nadia walked into my office, her expression uneasy. There's a call for you online, too. It's the hospital. My chest tightened, but I didn't say anything until the nurse's voice came through. Mr. Evans? Your wife, Cindy Evans, was brought in earlier. It looks like an overdose, but she's stable now. For a long moment, I just listened to the faint hum of the line. Then I said, I'll come by. When I got there, she was lying in a bed near the window, pale and thin, an IV taped to her wrist. Her eyes opened slowly when she heard me step in. You came, she whispered. I stood at the foot of the bed. You're breathing, I said quietly. That's something. She tried to smile, but it broke halfway. They said I was lucky. Maybe, I said. Depends on what you do next. She looked at me, tears gathering. You still hate me? No, I said softly. Hate takes energy. I stopped wasting that a while ago. Her lips trembled. Then why did you come? To make sure it's real. To see how far silence carried you. Her hand twitched like she wanted to reach for mine, but she didn't. I thought I could fix it. You can't fix what you broke on purpose. The monitor beeped steadily beside her. When I turned to leave, she asked, Will you come back tomorrow? I paused at the door. No, I've said everything worth saying. She nodded faintly. Goodbye, Owen. Goodbye, Cindy. I walked out without looking back. The divorce was finalized a few months later. No court drama, no drawn-out arguments. Just signatures, dates, and a thin packet of papers that ended a decade. When I got home that evening, a plain envelope was waiting on the doorstep. My name, written in her familiar handwriting. Inside was a short note. You were right, Sawyer disagreed. Now I do too. Take care of yourself. I stared at the paper for a while, then folded it neatly and set it aside. The house was quiet, the kind of quiet that used to feel heavy but now felt earned. I walked into the study, opened the drawer in my desk, and looked at what was left of it all. Her ring, the flash drive, first envelope with her name, and now her final note. All of it sat there like a story I'd already finished reading. I placed a small piece of paper of my own. It said, She called me her soulmate. Her ex disagreed. So did I. I locked the drawer, turned off the light, and stood by the window. For the first time, it didn't feel lonely. I didn't feel victory or relief or sadness, just calm. The kind that comes when a storm ends and you realize the thunder was never the problem. It was the waiting. I looked toward the door where she'd once stood with that suitcase and practiced apology. This time, there was no knock, no voice, no hesitation, just peace. And that was enough. Thank you for watching.